This is Matthew. Here's my evidence for my trial in May. I was tortured for about 3 or 4 years, falsely accused of hitting an old lady with an orange juice bottle by Officer Mike Kitchen. He lied about everything. An officer in ORILLIA. I was locked up at a psychiatric ward for 2 months and spent a month in segregation. I'm part of a class action lawsuit for WAYPOINT Hospital in Penetanguishene. WAYPOINT Hospital in Penetanguishene. I'm part of a class action lawsuit right now. I believe it's 32 million. Or 320 million, 32 million, I think. And I'm part of a segregation lawsuit right now. Ontario segregation lawsuit. And I hope I get a lot of money for my injuries. But let's just stick to what I want to say to the judge and the Crown in May. It is Monday, March 3rd at about 2:54 a.m. And I'm going to try to stick to the main points so I can wrap this up in less than 30 minutes. All of my videos are one-take videos. And let me get back on track here. Okay, so I was at WAYPOINT for 2 months, a month in segregation, falsely accused of hitting an old lady with an orange juice bottle in ORILLIA. And they tried to force vaccinate me, a SWAT team, twice. And the nurse said that there was the vaccine in one of the needles. She had 3 needles when the SWAT team tried to throw my door open in the middle of the night while I was sleeping. A steel door to a cell I was in. I was in that cell for a month. They tried to force vaccinate me. The nurse said it was the vaccine she was trying to give me, and then changed what she said and said it was something for allergy medication. And she tried to also give me a drug that I'm allergic to, very allergic to, and I told them all the time that I'm allergic to this drug and had horrible disabilities from the drug, including hearing loss. And they tried to force vaccinate me multiple times with SWAT teams in black body armor. Even their faces were covered. They stuck needles in me in front of other prisoners. The prisoners were shocked. All of the prisoners were shocked the way they were treating me because of my size. Because I'm 6'3", 390 pounds. Everybody was shocked. All the prisoners there were shocked at WAYPOINT. And they immediately jumped in to be my friend, all of them, as soon as they saw what I was going through. And they didn't understand. They kept questioning me. Why are they treating you like this? You don't deserve this. They can't do that to you. Keeping me in segregation for over a month, denying me all my rights. Even the telephone, even going out for fresh air. And the place was toxic. It was like the hottest place ever. Everybody was complaining that their skin was boiling. It was so boiling, they would never turn down the heat. I still have scars on my cheeks and face from the dry skin and the chemicals in the air. The whole building was full of chemicals at WAYPOINT, and I was there for 2 months. It was the hottest place. My skin was so dry. The girls were complaining of their skin boiling all the time, and they denied us all our rights. They sat there and laughed in their room down the hall in segregation. There was about 7 or 8 cells in segregation, maybe 6. It was one hallway, and I was in the steel cell, and I was also in the rubber room there. And I saw other people being abused by them, and for some reason I was the only one that was denied all my rights, while other people were getting TVs and computers wheeled up to their cell door to play on the music videos and YouTube and everything, and play all their favorite music as loud as they want. I was the only one denied all my rights, and abused, and made fun of. And I never got to go to yard. It took about 2 months for them to let me outside, and I only went outside twice. The first time they tied me in restraints, I had my arms tied to my side or back while I went outside. It was like January or December, after spending at least a month in segregation with no fresh air, boiling heat, scars on my face, extremely dry skin, dealing with severe sleep apnea, sleeping on the floor, exposed to germs, and taken to 3 hearings. I had 3 CCB board hearings, consent and capacity board hearings, so that I could try to get out. They're like a trial. And I lost all 3 of my hearings. At the first hearing, the worker that was seeing me in ORILLIA lied about everything, told about 20 or 30 lies at the hearing, saying I'm extremely psychotic, extremely delusional, extremely violent, extremely crazy, extremely this and that and this and that, extremely this and that, and said all this stuff, and said she knew me for 6 months when she only knew me for like 2 months, and she barely knew me. And she called me after I called 911 when I was sick at a hotel with no ventilation in the room. She called me after I called 911 to go to the hospital, and the police were harassing and threatening me and fighting with me and threatening to arrest me because I called 911 because I was sick at a hotel. And at that hotel, I caught some kind of STD from the blankets. I asked for new blankets, and the manager brought me blankets, and I got some kind of STD. And I still have problems on my inner thighs from that injury, and I still have some other problems. I think I caught an STD or some kind of infection from the blankets there. And I went to the hospital while I was at that hotel in ORILLIA, and I showed them what happened, and my testicles were all purple and dark red, and I had scabs all over, and I suffered injuries from that. And let me tell you what they did to me one of the times, probably the first time I went to Soldiers Memorial Hospital in ORILLIA, Soldiers Memorial Hospital, and then was carted off the WAYPOINT. This is what they did. They threw a spit mask on me. They shoved a catheter up my penis as fast as... they shoved a catheter up my penis as fast as they could. And I had an injury. I had trouble getting erections for years after that. I had an injury. I had a sore on the lower side of my penis and caught some kind of infection. I had trouble getting erections, and extremely painful erections. I could barely get an erection for years because of the sore on the bottom of my penis. And she shoved a catheter at my penis. They threw a spit mask on me at Soldiers Memorial Hospital for no reason, threw me on the floor, fractured my nose. My nose is still swollen from the second time, or the first time they did it to me. They threw a spit mask on me, were punching me in the nose multiple times on the floor at Soldiers Memorial Hospital. And when they threw the spit mask on me and injected me with drugs, I almost died. I couldn't get the spit mask off. I almost died. I was in restraints, and somehow I managed to pull it off with my arms behind my back or something. In restraints, somehow I bent my neck and shoulder down and pulled it off at the last second before I suffocated to death while they left me in a room by myself. And I've read about this, and you can easily find it online. I read about it. There have been many deaths by prisoners in jail that they put spit masks on. They suffocate in them, spit masks. And I almost died. I knew I was going to die that day, and I almost died. I pulled it off at the last second. They drugged me up. I thought an officer raped me while I was at Soldiers Memorial Hospital. At Soldiers Memorial Hospital in ORILLIA, I thought an officer raped me. I thought it was Officer Mike Kitchen, and I thought I saw him leaving the room, rushing out. When I woke up screaming, "You raped me." It might have been just a dream. And then I was carted off to WAYPOINT in restraints with a broken nose, blood in my nose for days, bloody nose, and that's how it started. They attacked me twice. Actually, I think it was 3 times I was at WAYPOINT in the period of about a year. And I suffered. They lied about everything at the hearings at WAYPOINT. They said that I was extremely violent and all this crap when I have no record of assault. I have no record of assaulting anybody in my entire life. I've never assaulted anybody. I've never punched anybody or hit anybody in my entire life, and I don't plan to hurt anybody. I don't plan to punch or hit anybody or injure anybody or kill anybody. I don't plan to. I never have planned to. I have never premeditated killing anybody. The only time I made threats was when I was severely injured in jail with handcuffs and shackles multiple times. That was the only time I made threats towards the people that injured me while I was incarcerated and tortured and severely injured with handcuffs and shackles. I have not made any threats since, and I am innocent. I only said things in self-defense, but that was many, many, many years ago. While I was homeless, I only said things in self-defense while I was being tortured or falsely accused or people were attacking me. My old lawyer can tell you that people were picking on me and they never gave me a chance. In her own words, she said that people never gave me a chance and they just lash out and attack me because of my size, because I'm a big guy with big strong arms, big strong legs, very muscular, from being homeless for over 10 years, very muscular build, stocky, big guy, and people attacked me, lashed out at me. My lawyer can back me up. In her own words, she said that multiple times. In her own words, she knows me, and she knows that people attacked me and never gave me a chance when they get angry, and I was only acting in self-defense verbally. I've never lashed out physically against anybody in my entire life, and I'm very proud of that. I'm innocent, and I lost all 3 of my hearings at WAYPOINT. I was falsely accused all 3 times I was there. I was kept in segregation for over a month each time, so a total of about 3 to 4 months in segregation. And I was the only one that was kept there for so long. And I am innocent. Like I said, I've never assaulted anybody in my entire life, and I'm very proud of that, and I'm Christian. I don't believe in violence. I don't believe in carrying knives, carrying weapons like most people do. I don't believe in carrying any sort of weapon. I don't believe in knives or guns or anything. And I have never carried a knife or a weapon in my pocket or on my person or in my bag in my entire life. I've never been found with drugs. Yes, I've never been found with drugs in my entire life, and I'm very proud of that. I've never done drugs in my entire life, and I'm very proud of that. I've never carried a weapon of any sort. And I've never been in the military or done anything violent in my entire life. And I was forced to stay at Waypoint for a total of 3 to 4 months. And they force medicated me and kept putting the dose higher and higher until I became a zombie and couldn't even speak. And I suffered scars on my face from the chemicals in the air and the drugs. Scars on my cheeks. And I suffered severe cracks on my feet. My heels were so dry and cracked, I could barely walk, and they were killing me even after I left there months later. It took forever to recover, and as soon as I left there the last time, as soon as I left there, I was walking like an old man. And ever since I was there about 3 years ago, or 3.5 years ago, I have been walking like an old man ever since, and really slow, extreme abdominal swelling. And whenever they track me down and the police pick me up, if I called the police for help, if I call an ambulance, they take me in handcuffs to the hospital, and they force medicate me with needles and threaten me with tasers like they did last time in Barrie. They threatened me with tasers on camera at Barrie Hospital, at Royal Victoria Hospital in Barrie. Yes, they threatened me twice with tasers, the police, at least 3 or 4 officers, while I was in a cell in the suites at Royal Victoria Hospital. They call it the suites. They threatened me with tasers, and I tried to get badge numbers and stuff, and they were fighting with me and laughing at me and threatening me and surrounding me, and they held me down violently and injected me multiple times with God knows what. I have severe PTSD and depression from what I went through. And every time they inject me, my abdomen swells up more and more, and I can barely move because my abdomen is so swollen and painful. And let me tell you why. Let me finish by telling you why I was caught holding a knife. I was holding a knife because the doctor was threatening me. Dr. Maher, Dr. John Maher from the Barrie ACT team, ACTT team from CMHA, Canadian Mental Health Association. He tortured me for about 3 or 3.5 years. He tortured me with high doses of medication. He claimed that the government wanted to keep me on this for keep me on these drugs for a long period of time, an undetermined amount of time. He laughed about it in front of me. He fought with me. He refused to listen to me for years. And he refused to lower the medication or put me on pills that are more tolerable. The pills are more tolerable and don't cause hardly as much problems. It's much safer to take pills, but he kept me on the injection. I suffered immediately. I was walking like an old man, and I still am. I can't run anymore. I used to sprint really, really fast about 2019. In 2019, I could sprint like 100 meters in like 9 seconds, like world record time. I could sprint. And the last time I ran was in ORILLIA along the lake. And I ran about 3 or 4 times there in the park in Lake Kuchiching in ORILLIA in 2019. Shortly after that, only 2 or 3 days later, maybe the next day, the police attacked me, severely injured me with handcuffs, and I can barely use my arms and hands now. I can barely use my arms and hands now. And that's my worst injury because it's hard to get I can't get any kind of job. I can't even carry my bags because it hurts too much and my arms are slow and weak and painful. I can't even throw a baseball. Baseball was the best thing that I ever loved doing in my entire life. It was my favorite thing to do in my entire life. And listening to music, I can't do either of those things anymore because my hearing's been damaged by psychiatric drugs. I have trouble getting erections from psychiatric drugs. I have many, many health problems from psychiatric drugs. And I was falsely accused because I jumped on top of a police car in 2014. I was falsely accused of being schizophrenic. The doctor said the police are going to kill you and laughed at me. He said they're going to kill you, Dr. Swayze at CAMH in 2014. He said the police are going to kill you. I was intoxicated. And he diagnosed me paranoid schizophrenic. And I have been tortured ever since. I have many disabilities, including brain damage. I have trouble remembering and focusing, severe memory problems, severe focus, attention problems, focus, memory. All my cognitive skills have declined. It's going to be almost impossible for me to get a job because I have so many disabilities, including edema in my legs and arms from handcuffs and shackles. Multiple injuries and attacks with handcuffs and shackles and beatings, and I was shot with rubber bullets multiple times, and my feet were turning purple, my arms were turning, my hands and feet were turning purple. I had multiple injuries, at least 7 to 9 times with handcuffs and shackles. And even the Barrie police once injured me with handcuffs and left me screaming in pain in the back of a cruiser for like 10 minutes while they stood right beside the cruiser listening to me screaming in pain. I have been tortured because I'm a big guy. People claim they're scared of me. People have claimed they're scared of me and lashed out and attacked me in hate. And it's nothing but hate for Christians. People hate Christians. People hate Christians. People hate good people. And don't ask me why. I'm not the one to answer this question. All I can do is keep being good, believing in peace, love, happiness. All I can do is keep being good. And it's going to be next to impossible for me to get a job because I have so many disabilities. And I'm turning 44. I'm turning 44 very soon, and I've decided that I'm never going to get married because of the events. Because of the events of the last year or two, I've decided that I'm never going to get married. I've decided that all I can do is just survive. I hope I can get a job someday. I hope I can leave Canada. I hope I can maybe move to Europe or the Philippines or somewhere nice and peaceful. I hope I can get a passport. I'm innocent. I hope you've seen that in my videos, that I'm innocent. I hope you understand that I'm innocent. I hope you all see that all of my videos have been one-take videos. I just pick up the phone once in a while and record a video. And they're one-take videos. And I don't plan the video. I just pick up my phone and tell you how it is, and I tell you what's on my mind, and I hope all of my videos can be taken as testimony to what I went through. Nobody has helped me all these years. I've lost friends and family because of my criminal record and because of being in the mental hospital. I lost friends and family. Everybody that finds out that I have a YouTube channel or that I was injured with handcuffs and shackles by the police, everybody who finds out turns their back on me and won't talk to me ever again. I've lost friends and family. And people who find out about my disabilities, people who find out that my legs and arms are disabled, they attack me, they threaten me with knives. And I've never called the police in my entire life or laid charges on anybody. I might have called a few times. I've never laid charges on anybody in my entire life. I've rescued people in my 20s and 30s. I rescued people. I broke up fights late at night in Toronto and Barrie and other cities. I broke up fights of people coming from the bars. Many times, I stood in the middle of fist fights, dangerous fights, street fights, and broke people up, broke up fights. One day, I think this was when I was about 27, one day I saw a guy getting his face stomped into the ground, and he was unconscious. And I crossed the road, I ran across the road and pulled the guy off of him. And then I kneeled down beside the guy. I had great, overwhelming concern. I had never seen anybody get killed in my entire life, and I had overwhelming concern. I kneeled down and I held his hand and I prayed for him, and he came back to life 2 seconds later, and he jumped up. And then I was inside the store. It was Pizza on Yonge Street in Toronto. I was inside the Pizza near Yonge and Dundas. I think that store is still there. And the police officer came in. He took the guy in the car to find the people who did it to him that ran away. he took the guy was all energetic. He came back to life when I held his hand and prayed for him. And he came back to life. And that was Jesus. And this is why I believe in God, because he does miracles. This guy had just gotten his face stomped into the concrete and knocked out, hit his head off a window, and by a guy a lot bigger than him. And then he jumped up. The police officer came up to me in the pizza. He said, great job, thank you. And he smiled. I think that was the only time a police officer was ever nice to me. And then the guy took off with the police officer, got in the car to go find the suspects. But I just want to say, yes, I did hold a knife, but that was after I was tortured for 3 or 4 years. Yes, I did hold a knife. That was the only time I held a knife in my entire life. And I was not trying to hurt anybody. I was tortured. My toenails stopped growing. I was walking like an old man for years. I could never leave my house because of the injection. I couldn't even talk to my friends on the phone. I was in my home, bedridden for years, in my home, and I was tortured. I was so sick. I couldn't have a normal conversation with my friends. I was confused. I was weak. I was tortured by this doctor. And I have a recording of him. I don't know if I'm going to use this at my trial, but I have a recording of him when he came to my house once. And he was very proud of what he was doing. I even told him I was going to commit suicide 2 or 3 times one summer at my house. And he said, there's nothing I can do to stop you. He said, I can't stop you from killing yourself, and walked away twice. He said it 2 or 3 times, I can't stop you from killing yourself. After me complaining for years, at least 2 years, that I'm being tortured and can never leave my house. And my abdomen was severely swollen all the time. My arms and legs were severely swollen. My toenails stopped growing, and they still don't grow. My toenails haven't grown in 4 years. My toenails haven't been growing. And I have been grinding my teeth. I have been grinding my teeth in my sleep. I have barely any teeth left. I'm going to have to get my teeth removed because I've been grinding them in my sleep for years from the stress. And my sleep apnea has gotten much worse. I have vision problems, light sensitivity. I have my face has aged. My face has aged like at least 20 years. My face has aged at least 20 years in the last 2 or 3 years from being on this drug called Invega Sustenna. 150 milligrams injection every 3 weeks. I have scars on my forehead, multiple scars on my forehead, scars on my cheeks. My cheeks are caved in, my cheekbones are caved in, so my face looks ugly now. My cheeks are swollen all the time, so my face looks really round and fat. My cheeks are always swollen. My abdomen's always severely swollen. I have digestive problems. I have swelling in my feet and hands. The swelling in my feet and hands has gotten worse since being on Vega Sustenna. Like I said, he never offered to lower the medication, and he fought with me. He claimed that he was the government and the government wanted to keep me on medications. He also claimed that I am very violent and have assaulted many people. He smirked. He told lies. He said that I said I had a lousy memory when I met him. He said that I complained of my toenails not growing, my circulation in my feet when he met me. He said this has all been ongoing problems that you complained about before I met you. He said I've seen all the reports at the hospitals and you're psychotic, you're schizophrenic, and you're delusional. And he says I have psychosis and all this crap and delusions. And I've never seen anything in my entire life. I've never had a vision in my entire life. I've never seen anything. I've never heard any voices. I've never seen anything. I've never had any delusions in my entire life. And I'm not paranoid. I've never been paranoid. And I am not delusional in any way or psychotic in any way. So, yes, I did pick up a knife. But the only reason I picked it up is because he was laughing at me and trying to stick a needle in me at my house. And I was trying to refuse the needle. I had told him for like 3 years that he was torturing me and I could never leave my house. And never had any energy. And I told... And he even said to me one time that he lied about everything to my face. And he even said to me one time, we've seen you all over town. We've seen you all over town all the time. When I only left my house a few times in like years, in like 3 years. And I had no motivation, I had no memory, I had no focus, I was confused. And he ruined my life. I still have brain damage. I'll never get a job. I'll never get any kind of job. Nobody's gonna hire me because nobody will ever hire me because to get a job, you have to have some sort of skill above other people, and I don't have any sort of skill above other people with all of my disabilities now. Before these drugs, before these injuries with handcuffs and shackles, between 2016 and 2020, I could have had any job. I could have been a baseball player, I could have been a rugby player, I could have been a sprinter. In 2019, I could sprint 100 meters in like less than 10 seconds, which is like a world record, or faster. I used to run like lightning in 2019, and then 2 days later the police attacked me in the same spot at the beach where I was running in ORILLIA. They attacked me. They injured me with handcuffs. They left me screaming in pain at the top of my lungs for more than 15 minutes in the back of a truck. They left me on the floor with my hands turning purple at the old police station that closed only a year after I left there. They left me screaming in pain, laughing, my hands turning purple. I couldn't get off the floor because my hands were so swollen and injured. Begging to go to the hospital for 24 hours. Left me in jail. Gave me 5 false charges that were dropped after 37 days in jail, and multiple other injuries with handcuffs in that jail at CNCC jail, CNCC, Central North Correctional Center in Penetanguishene, Ontario. They left me on the floor. They injured me. They injured me multiple times, dragged me, shackled me, dragged me to court. My feet were swollen. My normal foot size used to be 14. And then after I was injured, I was 15 and a half. And my feet got wider. I was in bed for 2 years after the original injury. I was in bed for 2 years. I couldn't leave my house. I was living alone. I didn't have any friends or family to help me. Even my sister didn't even care that I was injured with shackles. And I was in bed for 2 years. On top of that, I was poisoned with carbon monoxide from an old heater in my apartment on Weston Road in Toronto. I was suffering from carbon monoxide poisoning. I was in bed for 2 years. I couldn't walk. My legs were massively swelling up, and I didn't know that it was salt. I didn't know that all the salt that was hidden in all the food I was eating was making the swelling so severe. I took at least 70 ambulance rides, probably 90 ambulance rides since 2016 with severely swollen legs, severe swelling. My legs were purple all the time and severely swollen, as much as like elephant legs. My ankles and calves and feet were like purple. At least 70 to 80 ambulance rides since 2016 in Toronto, ORILLIA, mostly Toronto. I went to almost every single hospital in Toronto. And then after I was injured with handcuffs as well, then it was handcuffs. I did another tour of all the hospitals in Toronto. And I was diagnosed with edema in all of the emergency rooms. And I didn't even have a doctor all those years. I didn't have a doctor since I was 25 and I'm 43. And I just found a doctor about 2 months ago, and I'm 43. How many years is that without a doctor? And I have treated all of my health problems naturally by doing research. And if I can do one thing to help this world, I want to be an herbalist or naturopath. If I can do one thing to help this world, I want to be an herbalist or naturopath. So I can help people. Because these prescriptions that are being given to people are toxic. Almost every single prescription drug I've taken has caused disabilities and long-term disabilities. Almost every single prescription drug is toxic to my body. I have all the disabilities to prove it. And I plan to never take prescription drugs again unless it's going to cost me my life if I don't take it. Yes, I did get upset. I was not angry. I wanted to show the doctor that I was feeling so bad from the medication. I did not try to hurt the doctor with a knife. I said, all I did was say, do you want me to hurt myself? Do you want me to hurt myself? Well, he was telling me to come out of my room. Come out of my room right now. Come out of your room right now, Matthew. Come out of your room right now. If you're not going to take the injection, I'm going to call the police. And he had already threatened me multiple times, and I was terrified of handcuffs because of the swelling in my wrists. And I've been injured multiple times because of the swelling in my wrists from previous injuries. I'm terrified of ever being handcuffed or shackled again because of the swelling I already have. And he knows that, but he had the police come to my house and pound on my door and try to break down my door. The first time he came looking for me, during the first year of the treatment order, that he kept renewing it every 6 months. He gladly renewed it for 3.5 years, and lied. And I was too sick to have a hearing every 6 months, so he just continued the treatment order until I ran away. So I ran away. And yes, I'm doing better now. I have been trying to fix my life. I've been trying to find ways to make money. I've been trying to take some college courses. I've been trying to make my future better. I have supportive friends now. I have been off the medication. I feel clearer, and I don't need medication. There was no reason to give me medication in the first place other than to hurt me and torture me and silence me. I really think that the liars, the police and psychiatrists, the liars are trying to silence me because they don't want the truth to come out. But thanks to YouTube. Thank you, YouTube. YouTube, I love you. YouTube, you're the best. Without YouTube, I wouldn't have been protected since 2016 to 2025. 10 years, YouTube protected me, gave me a voice. In the silence of the night, YouTube gave me a voice. Protected my privacy, protected my story, protected my channel for 10 years. I am innocent. And thank you, YouTube. I don't know if I'm going to be representing myself. But I think this video speaks for most of my story. I think this is the best video I've ever made for my channel. And I just want to say, shout out to Papa John's Pizza. I love you, Papa John's Pizza. And YouTube, you're the best. YouTube, you're the best. Brad, I love you. And Eileen, I love you. And Cynthia, I love you. Once again, thank you, YouTube. I love you, Mom. I love you, Mom. I hope you're okay. And if you're not okay, Mom, I'm happy you're in heaven. And I'll be joining you soon. I love you, Mom. I love you, Heather. I love you, my sisters. I love you, Alex. in Barrie. And I love everybody who helped me along the way. I didn't have a lot of friends, but I had good friends. I didn't have a lot of friends, but I had innocent, loving friends that are worth being your friends. And I don't know how long I've been recording. My eyes are closed. The sun's coming up soon. It's March 3rd. And I just want to say thank you, YouTube. Thank you, YouTube. Without you, YouTube, I wouldn't have had a voice. I would have never had a voice. I would have never had my life protected from further injury by the police. I would have never had a voice. The truth would have never came out without you, YouTube. YouTube, I owe you my life. This is my longest video. I love you, YouTube. I love you, YouTube. You are my voice in the night. You are the voice of Christians. You are the voice of Jesus. You are the voice of everything good. Thank you, YouTube, for protecting my channel all these years. My voice, my truth, my story, my testimony, and all of my great music videos, because you know I love music. And I'm going to keep fighting for peace. I'm going to keep fighting for peace. I'm innocent. I've never carried a weapon in my entire life, not even a little dagger. I've never carried a weapon in my entire life, and I'm proud of that. And I hope I have a future. I hope I have a future. I have a long way to go with my health, but I hope I have a future. Everyone who doesn't know God, Jesus will lead you to peace, will lead you home. All you have to do is call on the name of the Lord. And love is the true religion. Love is the true religion. In Jesus' name. I forgive you, Justin Trudeau. I forgive all my enemies. In Jesus' name. Nobody helped me. Everybody hid from my story. Hid from me. Hid from me. Deserted me. My friends and family deserted me because I went to jail for stupid made up threats against police and security guards. Well, I was homeless for over 14, 15 years. Over 14 or 15 years I was homeless. And I am innocent. I'm innocent. The only thing I ever did was argue. I could have had a pardon. I could have had a pardon last year or the year before. But this had to happen so that I could tell my story. Maybe I should just make this video go for another 4 minutes, then it will be an hour. I don't know if there's time limits on videos, but it doesn't matter. If you don't know Jesus, He's the best thing for you, for everyone, for the world. Jesus will help you to get through everything in the end. There will be many trials and tribulations. There will be many tests in life. But it's just to refine you in the fire. All the tests in life are just to refine you in the fire. To make you pure, the purest gold. Give you a golden heart, give you a golden mind. To make your eyes shine with innocence. To make your eyes shine with innocence. To make your eyes shine with innocence. Everything leads you back to God. All you have to do is call on the name of the Lord. He will lead you to peace. He will lead you home. He will lead you. He has led me my whole life. He is the father to the fatherless. I didn't have a father. I didn't know my older sister. I grew up in the ghetto in Toronto, in the ghetto, where people were shooting and stabbing and fighting and threatening. I grew up in the ghetto. But Jesus was with me my whole life. And He showed me how to stay out of trouble. He showed me how to be peaceful in every situation, no matter how stressful the situation was. He showed me how to stay calm. And I've never heard anybody, will the police go around? How many people have they killed? How many people have died in jail in Canada? How many people have died in hospitals, psychiatric hospitals and jails? How many people have died with spit masks? Yes, spit masks. Being tortured in jail in Ontario and Canada. And beaten. Suffocating in spit masks. I've read about it. I've been through it. I've been shot with rubber bullets. But it's over now. That was a long, long time ago. It was a long time ago. And my only fault was that I was homeless. I don't know why, and I don't know why anybody ever made the law of loitering. I don't know why anybody ever made the law of loitering. Because nobody wants anybody even on a sidewalk in Toronto. Or a park bench. I don't know how many times I was woken up on a park bench in the middle of nowhere with nobody around, by the police at like 5 in the morning. I don't know how many times I was pulled over on my bike for wearing sunglasses at night and wearing black clothes. I don't know how many times I was attacked every single time I drank a beer in a park by myself, not bothering anybody. With nobody around. I don't know how many times I was attacked by police for opening a beer and having a good time in a park by myself every time. I don't know how many times people stalked me and chased me while I was homeless for 14 years. I don't know how many times people attacked me for opening a beer in the park, stalked me. Yes, I was gang stalked. I couldn't even open a beer without people surrounding me, like right away, and falsely accusing me. I'm not angry. I just wanted to add a little to my story so I can wrap everything up all in one video. This might be the last time I talk about my story. I just want to say thank you to the Crown and thank you to the police for all of the false accusations. Thank you for making me plead guilty, Crown Attorney. Thank you for always making me plead guilty so I can get out of jail. Thank you for making me plead guilty when I was innocent and giving me a record just so I could get out of jail and not be tortured with plastic plates and allergies to boiled plastic plates, putting chemicals in my food, poisoned food, just so I could be free and not injured and maimed and poisoned. I pled guilty to get out of jail. I am innocent, and you ruined my life, Crown Attorney, police, and Dr. Swayze, Dr. Maher, the psychiatrist from CAMH. You ruined my life, ruined my future, destroyed my body. I don't even know, honestly, if I'll have a life. But Jesus wants me to fight for freedom. Thank you.